All right, let's dive into a really cool design pattern called federated delegation. Now, this is a super clever way to keep massive systems from, well, collapsing under their own weight. It's all about teaching them to work together, kind of like a beautifully conducted orchestra. Let's get into it.
So, to kick things off, let's ask a really fundamental question. What actually happens when you design a system where one single part is responsible for, well, everything? I mean, it might seem simple at first, but as that system starts to grow, you're pretty much just setting yourself up for a huge failure down the line. And this has a name. It's called the lone orchestrator problem. Just imagine one single air traffic controller trying to manage every plane in an entire country. You can see the issue, right? If they get overwhelmed, or heck, even just need a coffee break, it's instant chaos. In the tech world, that translates to system overload, painful bottlenecks, and a single point of failure that can bring your entire service crashing down. It's just a fragile way to build things. But what if there's a better way, a more elegant solution? Instead of that one super stressed out controller, what if we could build a whole symphony of systems, all working together in perfect harmony? Let's explore that.
And that solution is federated delegation. At its core, it's a pretty simple idea. It's just a mechanism that lets one system, we'll call it an orchestrator, hand off a specific job to another one. So instead of one system trying to do all the heavy lifting, it can intelligently spread the work across a whole network of specialized helpers. Honestly, the absolute best way to visualize this is to think about a symphony orchestra. You've got the main conductor, right? They see the big picture, the entire piece of music, but they don't play every single instrument themselves. Of course not. They trust their section leaders to handle all the little details. And check out how perfectly this analogy maps to the technical side of things. The primary orchestrator, that's your main conductor, guiding the whole performance. A federated orchestrator, that's like an assistant conductor, maybe the leader of the violin section. And the complex workflow, the job that needs to get done, that's the entire symphony. It's the beautiful music that you only get when everyone plays their part correctly. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does it actually work, under the hood? Let's take a look at the technical mechanics of how one system actually tells another, hey, I've got a job for you. It all boils down to a really straightforward API call. A system sends what's called a POST request to an endpoint named /federation/delegate. And that's it. This is basically the digital instruction, the tap on the shoulder that says, hey you, I need you to do this thing for me. And inside that request, there's some very specific info. As you can see, two fields are absolutely required. First, the target orchestrator ID. That tells you who needs to do the work. And second, the workflow definition ID, which spells out exactly what the job is. That's the core contract right there, a clear who and a clear what. You can also pass along some optional stuff, like extra context or setting a priority, to help the other system manage the task.
Okay, so we've got the concept and the mechanics, but that brings us to the most important question of all. Why even bother? Why would you set all this up? Well, the answer comes down to 4 massive benefits that directly solve that lone orchestrator problem we started with.
Yep, it really boils down to 4 game-changing advantages. And these aren't just small tweaks. They fundamentally change how you can build and grow complex systems, hitting all the weak spots of that old single orchestrator model. First up, you get scalability. By spreading the work around, no single system ever becomes that dreaded bottleneck. Second, specialization. You can send a specific task, like, say, processing a video, to a system that is built and fine-tuned for exactly that job. Third, and this one's huge, you get resilience. If one of your orchestrators goes down, the main conductor can just delegate the work somewhere else. The music doesn't stop. And finally, policy enforcement. This lets different teams, or even different companies, enforce their own security rules while still working together in a bigger, trusted network. So, this delegation model is already incredibly powerful, but what's really exciting is that it opens the door to even more amazing possibilities. The road ahead for these federated systems is all about making them not just coordinated, but truly intelligent. So, what's the next movement in this symphony? I mean, could systems start to automatically discover which orchestrator is the best fit for a job based on its current workload? Could they negotiate security policies with each other in real time? These are the exact kinds of questions architects are working on right now as they try to turn simple delegation into a truly smart and adaptive network.